May the Force be with you, and also may the Force read with you, because it's time once again for one of my favorite readathons every year. May the Force read with you is an event hosted by Eric over at Break Even Books. He and his partner Marcus put this together every year, and they just do a fantastic job. It's so much fun if you love Star Wars. Probably even if you don't love Star Wars, the prompts are great. The character creation idea is great. Basically, you're creating a character in the Star Wars universe, and it's just so well put together. It's a ton of fun, and you get to build up points, which also is fun. It gives you that little extra bit of motivation, and I just love participating every year. So this year, I'm participating once again, and this is all I'm planning to do for May. This is it for my May TBR, and I'm happy with this decision because I think it's going to let me lock in and hopefully get a lot of points. So this year I've decided that my character is going to be in the Ambassadors Guild, and I've named them Amity because I thought that was funny, because like amity is peaceful political relations between groups. I just thought that was kind of funny for somebody in the Ambassadors Guild. And to make things a little simpler for myself in building my TBR this year, because I didn't want to choose something for every single prompt and completely overwhelm myself, I decided that I wanted to set a goal based on the moniker that I want to get for my character. So the monikers are actually bonus prompts they're not actually prompts, they're like bonuses you can work towards. They get you extra points, and you have to complete these like additional challenges to get them. So each one has a status piece and a title piece. For the status, I've decided I want Divine, which is in the kind of like bottom tier. It's the way it's written, the bottom tier is the most points tier, 6 points, I think. So that particular one, you have to read 250 pages in a day, which I think should be doable if I just like pick a weekend day and sit down and focus on reading. I think I should be able to achieve that pretty easily. For the title that I want, I decided I wanted the Investigator title, which is in the 5-point category for those. And for that one, you have to complete 5 light side prompts and 5 neutral prompts. So that kind of guided my selection of Ambassadors Guild, because that is a light neutral faction, meaning that I can only do the light and neutral prompts anyway, which makes it pretty easy to work towards what I want to work towards. So what I decided to do to make all of that work is that I am going to be doing a species prompt, because you can choose to play a human, which doesn't have any prompt associated with it, but you also don't get any points for it, or you can choose one of several other species. So I'm going to be doing a species prompt, and then I'm doing 4 each of the light and neutral abilities, and 1 each of the light and neutral ally prompts. That is the plan. I don't know if I'll actually achieve all of these, but I thought it would be a fun goal to work towards. So starting off, for the species prompt, I've decided I want to do the Chiss prompt, which was either to read a general fiction or a book with cool colors on the cover, and I've opted for cool colors, and I'm going with The Fractured Dark by Megan E. O'Keefe. I am so excited to read this. I read the first book in this series last March, and I can't even believe it's been more than a year since I read it, but I absolutely loved the first book in this series. I was obsessed with it, and it's so silly that I haven't moved on and read the second and third books yet, so that was why I wanted to go ahead and get this on my TBR. I'm really excited for it. I also remember the first book reading really quickly, so I think this will make it a pretty good readathon book, so I'm really looking forward to getting to this. I don't know where to put this now. We'll sort of stack. It's been a while since I've been filming like big TBRs in front of this set of shelves, and in the new setup, I just don't know what I'm doing exactly yet, so bear with me. Moving on from species, we'll talk about the light abilities first, and the first one I'm going to be doing is Force Valor, which is to read a book where the author's name is above the title, and I've gone with Akshaya Raman's The Ivory Key, which you can see her name is above the title. This one is a YA fantasy about a group of siblings who all kind of like hate each other, but they have to work together to find an artifact to help save magic in their kingdom, and I think that just sounds really fun. I remember reading a few pages of this when I first got it. It was a bonus book in a subscription box that I had at the time, and I really liked the writing, like right off the bat, and I thought the characters were really interesting, so I'm looking forward to reading this one because I'd kind of forgotten that I owned it. Next up, I'm going to be doing Jedi Mind Trick, which this year is to read a book with a closed compound word in the title, and I'm going with Silver Under Nightfall by Rin Chipeko, which has Nightfall, that being a closed compound word. Basically a word that is made up of 2 other words put together, but there's not either a space or a hyphen between them. Then I'm going to be doing Plant Surge. Is this the third? Yes. Plant Surge, the third of the light side prompts that I'm doing for the abilities, and this one is to read a book with a flower or plant name in the title, and I'm going with Maplecroft since it has maple in the title. This is a book that's on my Our Fantasy Bingo TBR that I wanted to get to, and it's a, epistolary book about what if Lizzie Borden was a monster hunter. and I just find that concept very intriguing, so I needed to get it on my TBR ASAP. And the final light side ability I'm going to be doing is Force Sever, or Sever Force, and this one is to have an initial in the author's name, and I've gone with The Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Jelly Clark, so initial right there at the start. I've read quite a few books from P. Jelly Clark at this point, and I've loved all of them, so I think this is going to be a good time. Moving on to the neutral prompts, we're starting with Battle Meditation, which is to read a book featuring games or trials, and I'm going with The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. This is another subscription box book. I found that when I was getting subscription boxes, I didn't do a very good job of actually reading them, so I have a lot of them on my shelf now, and I don't normally like a game or trial story. I typically find them boring, mostly kind of ridiculous, but this one sounded interesting. It's about a young woman who's working as a prison healer when I believe a rebel queen is brought in, and she receives a note that's basically like, just keep her alive and we're gonna save her at some point. And she ends up taking on a set of trials on the queen's behalf that are normally given to some of the like worst prisoners in the prison, with the idea being that if they succeed, if they live through the trials, they will be released as if, you know, their record is cleared. So she is taking on these trials on behalf of this rebel queen, trying to keep this woman alive, who is also, I believe, very sick or very injured. And there's also some other guy that shows up in the prison. Presumably he's a love interest. I don't really remember the specifics of this that clearly, but it is one of the only games or trial books that I had on my shelf. But it's another one that, like The Ivory Key, I really just wanted to kind of push up my priority list, because otherwise I could see it languishing for several more years. Next up is Doppelganger. Read a book where a word in the title is also an image on the cover. And I've gone with The Ice Pick Surgeon by Sam Keene, which is a nonfiction about a bizarre and dark medical science history. And you can see there is, in fact, an ice pick on the cover, so it works perfectly. Then we've got Force Barrier. Read a book you've spent money on, and pretty much any of these probably would work. I have some that have been gifted to me, but the vast majority of books on this shelf are books I spent money on. But I decided to go for one that I went out of my way to acquire, and it's The Red Scholar's Wake by Aliette Bedard. I went out of my way to get this Illumicrate edition because I had canceled my subscription at the time that they were doing this particular book, and I love this edition. I love Aliette Bedard's writing. I love the Zuya universe, which this is set in, and I just really, really wanted to have the special edition on my shelves. So that's the one that I spent money on. I felt like fit this the best. And it's basically like sapphic mystery sci-fi. It's going to be a good time. The last of the neutral prompts that I decided to do just looked fun. This one is precognition, and the idea is that you flip a coin and you guess either heads or tails, and if you're right, you have to pick a book of your choosing, and if you were wrong, you have to pick a book 550 pages or more. Quick little coin toss while I have a moment. I'm going to guess tails. And that was heads. I don't know if you could see it, but that was, in fact, heads. And because I got it wrong, I have to read a book over 550 pages. And since I have to read a book over 550 pages, I decided, why not just go big or go home? So I'm reading one that's over 700 pages, and I'm going to read Empire of the Vampire, which you may note is yet another subscription box book. I have so many of these that I need to get to, and this one I actually did read 250 pages of it. You can see I was tabbing it, and I never finished it. I think I set it aside because I got busy at work or something. I don't really remember what happened, but I was reading this shortly after it arrived, and then set it down, forgot to ever come back to it, and now I need to restart it, reread those first 250 pages, and I'd really like to go ahead and complete it because I do also own book 2 in the series, although I don't have that in the Illumicrate version. I just have the standard Barnes & Noble edition. The last couple of prompts we're doing are the ally prompts, and for the light side ally, I've chosen Rebel Alliance. This is to read a book from a completed series, and I've decided to go with A Power Unbound by Freya Marsk. I am currently reading and about to finish A Restless Truth, and this one is the conclusion to the trilogy. This is romantic, Edwardian, fantasy, mystery. I love the first 2 books in the series. Having not finished Restless Truth yet, I can tell you it's going to be 5 stars from what I've read so far. I'm absolutely loving it, so I think I'm going to want to move on to the 3rd book immediately. I really love the characters in this, and in particular I'm curious about the 2 main characters of this one, because one of them is a character that you kind of hate in book 1, but I'm impressed at how well book 2 is convincing me that maybe I like him actually. So I'm curious to see how I'm going to feel about him as a main character in book 3. So I need to get to this as soon as possible, and I'm really looking forward to it, and it's just like kind of worked out perfectly because I'm also trying to finish this series this year. This is on my series TBR list for the year, and yeah, just kind of the stars aligning here with getting this on the TBR for May. Finally, the neutral ally that I've chosen is The Smugglers, and this one is a book where the main character has a different gender or sexuality than you do, and I've chosen First Become Ashes by K.M. Spera. I want to be emotionally wrecked, apparently. I enjoy suffering, which is why I've chosen to put 11 books on my TBR when I don't typically read that much in a month. But this one has multiple perspective characters, all of whom I believe have different gender and sexualities than me. So I think this works really well for that, and it's a book that I've been kind of putting off because I did really enjoy K.M. Spera's first book, Docile, which is a book that is very much not for everyone. So I think because of my experience with Docile and kind of seeing the reception around it, I've been putting off First Become Ashes because I knew it was going to be really like emotionally difficult, and I feel like it is finally time to come back around and read this one. Really looking forward to it, even though I know it's probably going to wreck me emotionally. So those are all the books I'm planning to read for May the 4th Read With You, and generally all the books I'm planning to read in May. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to be participating. I would also love to know which calling you're doing and which prompt you're most excited for if you decide to participate this year. But I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. I'm currently posting on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!